LG19 writes, serious question, will there be jobs or community military members can join when I get a dishonorable discharge for not contributing to delete people or my body for the interest of a certain foreign nation benefit? I love this question. I do believe that if war in Iran is on the agenda, and that appears so, get dishonorably discharged. Who cares? Who cares? Why should you go die in a foreign land? You now have the benefit of 2020. You can see, think about those men and those women who died because they were pitched that they were serving their country because there were weapons of mass destruction, right? They were serving their country because the Taliban, they were serving their country, whatever, and these people gave up their lives. And ask yourselves, for what? And the answer to that question is for the elites. They're like toy soldiers. And I would have said a few weeks ago that Trump would never do that to you. He would never just throw you into an Israeli war. But right now, our planes are flying in the sky, and things are going nuclear. So I don't have that confidence anymore. And I'm comfortable with people being dishonorably discharged because the dishonor has come from our politicians. The dishonor has come from our politicians who routinely lie in our faces and are willing to let us die to serve their financial interests. So why don't they dishonorably discharge themselves from public office?
What's up, Solutionaries? Maj Toure here. That was Candace, and gotta be honest, she got some points right there. Now, I want to be very clear. My position on this is going to upset potentially a lot of you servicemen and servicewomen, active duty, retired, whatever, and I want to say this in the most respectful way. I don't give a fuck. At what point do you take a line in the sand? I actually made a post on my X page, Twitter for the older people. Go follow Maj Toure 999, MAJTOURE 999, and asked that very same question a few days ago. And that question is like, is it okay for those guys to go? Absolutely not. No, thank you. Now, I got pushback from everybody. Oh, Maj, nah, you took an oath, you took this, and if it's not a lawful order, well, it's not a lawful order and it's not a lawful command. Why are you sending us boots on the ground in something that Congress has not voted on for us to be a part of? Before I finish this whole thing, let me say this. I understand that when you're in the military, you're fighting for the guy right next to you, to your right or your left. I 1000% understand that. I have tons of friends that are military and family that have served, that have retired, that are SF at whatever level of the military, right? So this is not me attempting to try to sow disunity. It's an attempt for us to right the ship about shit that's been wrong. Clearly, this looks like another they got weapons of mass destruction conversation. And similar to police, military personnel, boots on the ground guys and gals, are the last line of defense for commanders that say, hey, we need you to go do this. If more police officers actually respected their constitutional oath, then you wouldn't get people being arrested for possession of a firearm. No crime, no violence, no none of that. They are violating their oath to the Constitution that they take every single time when they say, oh, you had a gun in the car and you didn't have a light. It's just what it is. And more Americans that just continue to go, well, that's their job, the Nuremberg defense. I was just doing my job. The more you motherfuckers that keep doing that, the more they're going to keep doing it because the politicians operate through the violence of their armies. Apply that same logic. If you're a Second Amendment person, apply that same logic to the military. Hey, we're about to be sent to something that you're lying about. You circumnavigated congressional approval to go do this after you said, we're not involved, we're not involved, we're not involved, we're not involved in Syria, we're not involved in Yemen, we're not involved in Libya, Iraq. All of the same thing looks exactly the same. And at what point do you go, as the person, at what point do you go, no, thank you? We talk about the founding fathers and the sacrifices that they made for things that were right, things that were righteous. We talk about the Constitution. We talk about all of these things. But when somebody says, maybe the person that actually has to swing the sword should say, no, this is not a righteous kill. Now, all of a sudden, it's all hell and terror. Now, all of a sudden, it's the wrongest thing in the world. Now, all of a sudden, oh, no, because it's just different. No, it's not different. We might not like that answer, but we have to look at the fact that we have been looking in the mirror long enough to say, we have been doing this shit so wrong that even the soldiers who are supposed to follow orders, we want them to be brain dead puppets to go murder people across the ocean, potentially get murdered in the name of yet another addition to the forever wars that have nothing to do with actual threats. And I don't mean threats like Iran saying death to America. I don't give a fuck what Iran says halfway across the world. Cool. Y'all fucking goats. I don't give a fuck what y'all doing over there. Y'all let your people let y'all fucking behead. All of that Ayatollah mullah shit. I don't care. So I don't mean threats in the sense of just words. I mean threats in the sense of there is actual things that you have done to violate human life, and especially American life. That's what I'm talking about. All that other shit, I generally don't give a fuck about. But they'll utilize this bad guy narrative, and if they can, all of Americans disagree, polls get put out, the vast majority of people in these polls say, we don't want Americans involved in this. But because you guys are in charge of the soldiers, you go, fuck our constitutional oath, fuck our constituents. We just gonna send the shooters regardless because we working with the IMF, the banks, the this, the that, the military-industrial complex, whatever. Because none of the soldiers are gonna say, no, thank you. But yet and still, we understand when an American citizen like Muhammad Ali says, absolutely not, I'm not going to fight in the Vietnam War. And says, cool, I'll go to jail. If that's the case, I'll go to jail. And then he goes to jail. Now he's heralded as a hero. All of the times back later in the day, after the fact, we want to acknowledge people for making the right decision then. The same military that said, we're going to dishonorably discharge you if you don't want to take the jab. Violation of their Fourth Amendment rights. Violation of their body. They said no thank you. Teachers that said no thank you during the whole COVID regime. Now we want to get them to high five. Yeah, they stood tall. But in a moment when it's the time to do it, before death happens, before compliance, now, all of a sudden, we want to act like, oh. And I understand, listen, to the brothers that's served, I understand your reason why, because you're thinking about the person next to you. So is the opposition. So are the politicians. They thinking about the person next to you, and you don't want to feel like you left them down, but you need to have a conversation with your soul and that person to the right and to the left of you. Is this right? Is this okay? And if it's not okay, you need to think about the moral, spiritual, whatever conundrum that they putting you in, and think differently. That's my view, as respectfully said as possible, but disrespect intended to anybody who can't see my objective view. But I don't know, Maj, you ain't never served. Maj, that's not how it go. Maj, we can't break the chain of command, even if it's yet again for a lie. I don't know, whatever you want to say, put it in the comments section. If you're right, I'll acknowledge it. If you're wrong, I'm gonna chop you up. Also, this is the reason why we talk about critical thought. This is the reason why we have a group to sharpen each other in this private group, in the Solutionary 9 membership. This is the reason why we talk about imminent threat. This is the reason why we talk about civics. This is the reason, firearms basics, all of the things. Hit the link below to strengthen yourself to make these moral, logical, civic-based, and personal protection issues from a more informed space. Give us 99 days. We'll make you smarter, in better shape, a better shooter, or we'll give you your money back. America becomes stronger when Americans are more informed and more capable, and that's what we want to do for you in the Solutionary 9. Hit the link below. Join up. My name is Maj Toure, the founder of Solutionary University. Hope to see you in the class soon. Be safe. Be solutionary.